O-Level Pack Studies 2059 P1, Question 5, May-June 2024. Question A. Describe the objectives resolution. For marks? Answer. The objectives resolution, passed by Pakistan's Constituent Assembly in March 1949, was presented by Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan. It outlined the guiding principles for the nation's future constitution. The resolution declared that sovereignty belongs to Allah, delegated to the state to be exercised by the people within prescribed limits. It envisioned a democracy where Islamic principles of social justice, freedom, and equality would be observed, and Muslims could live according to their faith. Importantly, it also guaranteed fundamental rights, an independent judiciary, and religious freedom for minorities, later becoming the preamble to all of Pakistan's constitutions. Question B. Explain why there were many different governments in Pakistan during the 1950s. 7 marks. Answer. The primary reason for political instability in the 1950s was the leadership vacuum created by the death of Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the assassination of Liaquat Ali Khan. Without their authority, politicians struggled to agree on a constitution, which was delayed until 1956. Divisive issues like the role of Islam, provincial power sharing between East and West Pakistan, and the national language controversy paralyzed progress. This constitutional deadlock weakened political parties, particularly the ruling Muslim League, which fragmented into factions. This lack of a strong political foundation meant governments were fragile, short-lived, and unable to form stable coalitions. This power vacuum was exploited by unelected state officials, notably Governor-Generals Ghulam Muhammad and Iskandar Mirza. They repeatedly used their constitutional powers to dismiss prime ministers and cabinets, creating a revolving door of governments even when leaders held a parliamentary majority. This constant interference, often termed palace intrigues, undermined democratic norms and prevented any government from implementing long-term policies. This chronic instability weakened the political system to such an extent that it culminated in the 1958 military coup by General Ayub Khan, ending the turbulent decade of parliamentary rule. Question C. Pakistan has experienced good relations with Afghanistan since 1947. How far do you agree with this statement? Explain your answer. 14 marks. Answer. I disagree almost entirely with the statement. The relationship between Pakistan and Afghanistan since 1947 has been overwhelmingly characterized by mistrust, suspicion, and hostility, with only brief, tactical periods of alignment. The foundational issues that have plagued their relations emerged at the moment of Pakistan's creation and persist to this day. The core of the dispute began in 1947 when Afghanistan refused to recognize the Durand Line as the legitimate international border. Afghanistan was the only nation to vote against Pakistan's admission to the United Nations. It actively promoted the idea of Paktanistan, a proposed independent state for Paktans, which would have carved out a large portion of Pakistan's northwestern territory. This was a direct challenge to Pakistan's sovereignty and territorial integrity, ensuring that relations were hostile from the very beginning. Even the period often cited as one of cooperation, the Soviet-Afghan War, 1979–89, was complex and ultimately damaging. While Pakistan supported the Afghan Mujahideen against the Soviet invasion and hosted millions of refugees, this was an alliance of convenience against a common enemy, not an indication of warm state-to-state relations with the government in Kabul. This period left a legacy of militancy, weapons proliferation, and drug trafficking in Pakistan, causing long-term instability. Following the Soviet withdrawal and the rise of the Taliban, whom Pakistan supported, there was a brief period of a friendly government in Kabul, 1996 to 2001. However, this alignment isolated Pakistan internationally. After the 9th of November, Pakistan's alliance with the US against the Taliban created deep animosity with subsequent Afghan governments. For 2 decades, Kabul, under Presidents Karzai and Ghani, consistently accused Pakistan of providing safe havens for militants and playing a double game, while Pakistan felt its security concerns were being ignored by both Afghanistan and the US. In conclusion, the assertion of good relations is inaccurate. From disputes over the Durand Line to proxy conflicts and mutual accusations of harboring militants, the relationship has been deeply troubled. The brief periods of cooperation were driven by strategic imperatives rather than genuine friendship and often resulted in negative long-term consequences for both nations. Therefore, the history of Pakistan-Afghanistan relations is one of enduring conflict, not harmony.